Hey guys, it's another fun Tuesday with Tom's Taste Buds. Tonight again we have Kate joining us, a fun
Hello.
sommelier, and we decided to go and have a fun night, not quite a fiasco as Chianti is, but a play on why you have straw in the bottle, what Chianti is, a region versus a grape, and a couple of other fine nuances on here. Um, a quick thing, we get our word fiasco from this bottle, this straw shaped bottle, because Chianti has always been a fiasco of a wine. It's a lot of fun. So now you know where the word fiasco comes from. Dating back to a long time ago in like the 14th century, this stuff's been going around for a long time. Without Chianti, we would have no Super Tuscan grapes. Whole lot of interesting history behind that with this. But really would like to delve into what a region versus a grape is. And this is where you can come in and help us out. When you go into a store and you ask for Chianti, a lot of people don't realize that's not the grape.
Right. Yeah.
What is the grape?
In Europe, actually, it's really common that most bottles don't say the grape on the front of the label like how they do in other countries, especially the United States. So the grape in Chianti is Sangiovese.
So when people come in and they see a Sangiovese on the shelf, can they get confused if it doesn't say Chianti on the bottle? And go, why am I buying a Sangiovese, not a Chianti? Understanding that Chianti is a region where the bulk
Yeah.
of the grapes being used are going to be Sangiovese.
Exactly. So that's actually when you're learning about wine and you're studying to become a sommelier. That's one of the things that they start to teach you is that when you're in Europe, you memorize the varietals per the region.
Gotcha.
Whereas it's different in the United States. So, for instance, when I think of Burgundy, there's two grapes I think about, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. When I think of Chianti, it's Sangiovese.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of when you're learning about wine, that's how you should train your brain. In Europe, there's very certain varietals that you can use in each region, and they have relatively strict laws about this. So depending on where you are in Italy, that's the grape that you're going to get.
So that's what I was going to get into when Cordelia pops on in, because we have a lot of things, and we'll talk about these down the line about IGT, DOC, DOCG, DO, all of these different things that talk about where the grape is and what the laws are to make this happen. Hi, Cordelia.
Hi.
Do we have enough room over here? I want to
There's
slide over a little
always
bit.
room.
Always
Scrunch
room
'em in.
on the Z Wyndham Wine Bar, most cozy couches
Kate
on the
in the
planet.
Kate between
Kate
Tom
There
and
we go.
Tom.
Tom
It's
and
supposed to be Tom and two Psalms. Now it's two Psalms to the right. What's going on here?
To the left.
To the left. Everybody, oh, come on, Psalms, to the left, to the left. So, what is the true nomenclature here of, if I'm buying a Sangiovese that does not say Chianti, is that a possibility? Can I get a Sangiovese not from Chianti?
It could certainly be a possibility. So let's think about where. Kate gifted me a bottle of Texan Sangiovese. It was
That's right, I forgot about that.
outstanding.
Yeah.
It's a dry, arid climate down there. Parts of Italy, especially Tuscany, are warm, dry, and very, very little water around. So grapes grow better when they're starved for water. So it's a fun thing. Most of our other plants, we like to give fertilizer. We love to water them. Grapes are the opposite. Grapes
Starve 'em.
because by growing the fruit berry, that's going to say to Mother Nature, I pray a bird, a squirrel, someone eats me and ejects me out the other end elsewhere, and
Gotcha.
a plant is grown. So grapes are the one fruit or vines are usually very, look at hops, they are just little weeds. They are literally weeds that just flourish when they're not given the best circumstances to grow. So I got off topic there. Sangiovese. So yeah, so we did a whole wine school on our Tuesday. What happens
Tuesdays?
after Taste Buds? We did a wine school theme called Grapellations, and we looked at the grapes. First, the appellations that make them. Take Sancerre. Sancerre is one of the most famous French white wines in the world. And many, many people that love it, they know to order it, they know it's going to be expensive, glass or bottle, they have no clue for the average one of them that it's Sauvignon Blanc that makes it. Some might very well know that.
Right.
The average person I've had admit at the wine bar, I hate Sauvignon Blanc, and then they order Sancerre. So of course I giggle on the inside, but then
Right.
it gets into the grape and the name. it says Sancerre on the label. There could be Sancerre Blanc, Sancerre Rosé, Sancerre Rouge.
Rouge, correct, yeah.
And only 2 grapes can make the red or rosé version, Pinot Noir both times over. So it's an interesting thing. Buyer beware. I always say every week, we have a little mini computer in our pocket. Check out the wine you love. See what it is. Sangiovese can be blended for Chianti with 2 other grapes, which changes just about every other year. But right now, I believe Chianti Classico, and we did have to brush up on this because you can't memorize it all. It's impossible. What did we find? Colli
Sinisi.
Yeah, something like that. And Colorino for red grapes can be blended in. Trebbiano and Malvasia for white, except in Chianti Classico.
Which is
not
a no-no,
in that.
right.
So it's, who can keep up with it? It changes every
Nobody
day.
can.
It's like your Wi-Fi password. It changes every day. It's you've been hacked once and you got to change it. But it's definitely the biggest difference from Europe to America is your grape versus your place. And I think people often find themselves biting their tongue because they have no idea what they're talking about. But
So
it's
if
okay
you
as
get-
long as they're drinking wine.
So if you get a Sangiovese, basically you're going to get sort of the same kind of juice, depending regionally, if it's coming from the Italian provinces around it and so forth. So you shouldn't hesitate to buy a Sangiovese if you don't see Chianti on it. Now you get Chianti Classico, smaller region, and so forth, and the DOCs and the DOCGs basically regulate what kind of grape, how much grape, and they just regulate how the wine can or can't be made, or to be called a specific thing. Now, my big thing with these is because we always correlate other wines. This best compares to what as a drinking partner. Like if I decide to go out and drink with this compared to a Cabernet or with this compared to a Zinfandel.
Sangiovese in general, or this particular wine?
Specifically Sangiovese in general. If I was in a restaurant and I saw that there were no Italian wines on there and I saw a Rioja, could a Rioja complement this in a drinking? Could a Zinfandel, is that too fruity? Like what could somebody parlay over? Oh, no Sangiovese on the menu. What could I order?
Oh, okay. The
You want me to go first?
the question is, okay, yeah,
So
go for it.
I would say, thank goodness that's closed, a lateral move for a Sangiovese lover would be in body Pinot Noir, where it might, depending on the maker, it might be ample in pepperiness and acidity. Most Pinot Noirs are very juicy with acidity, but for a lighter style red, they actually pack a lot of tannic character because it's a thin-skinned grape, at least Pinot Noir is, with a very high tannic flavor. So sometimes you look at a Pinot Noir and they look so light in color, but that first sip, you're pleasantly surprised. It's got earth, it's got pepper, it's got spice. Again, not all are created equally. I would say Sangiovese. I always like to say when two other grapes had a baby.
Right.
Let's say Nebbiolo and Pinot Noir had a baby. I think it'd be
Having
Sangiovese
Sangiovese.
because it has that kind of rusty element. Especially this one right now is a little rusty.
It's very rusty. I got
but
a
I
lot
like
of metallic.
it. And with food, we always think in Europe wine is a part of the meal. It's not a beverage. I would say like a tomato sauce, something with, that you're gonna have to maybe take your
Pasta, pizza, kind of like
your,
antacid kind of thing.
antacid after.
Well, one of
That's-
the biggest rules with pairing wine and food is usually you're safe with drinking the wine from the same region and then the
Absolutely.
food from the same region, the
You
cuisine
know, that's
What
from that
grows
region.
together goes together.
Yes.
That's
That's
what they
actually
say.
something really important that I have to always remember. People come in and they're like, I'm having Thanksgiving dinner. Will a Cabernet go well with this? And I'm like, okay, classic, savory, no fat, easy, thin-skinned bird, nothing going on there. Probably not. You don't have
Yeah.
enough fat content in there. And you think back, it's like, who eats turkey? U.S. market, yada yada. Over in Europe, when they're doing gamey meats, they're doing lighter red wines, or they're
Right.
doing
Yeah.
some, more acidic white wines like the Rieslings and
Sweet.
stuff like that, or sweeter, sure.
Yeah, chilled reds, bubbly chilled reds.
So it's always it's a good
Yep.
thing. The region and the food, like you said. Like
Yeah.
when you were in
Well-
Italy, when you were drinking all your Sangioveses, what were you eating over there?
When I was drinking all my Sangiovese, I was eating pasta and bread and cheeses and truffles and like
All the good stuff.
all
over
the
there.
really good stuff. But something that I will say that's important in regards to your question of what grape I would recommend if there's not a Sangiovese
If there's not a
on the table.
Sangiovese, and the
You know-
wine drinker's like, what should I order in lieu of this?
I do want to say it really depends on which region you're drinking the Sangiovese from. Because,
Okay.
like, for instance, I mean, this Sangiovese is a Chianti, and it is really, really easygoing. And so in that case, I would definitely say like a Pinot Noir I could possibly feel very comfortable if this is what you wanted, telling you to get a Pinot Noir.
Now, would you pick a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, Washington, or California? Like, would you pick something from a more arid climate?
Well, I definitely wouldn't pick one from California.
Big fruit bombs.
Because that is like an oak fruit bomb,
Right.
and almost like darker fruits, and this is like cherry, earthy, rusty. So
Gotcha.
I would maybe say a Burgundy. I would maybe say something from Willamette, Oregon, although those are pretty fruity. But Sangiovese is the grape that you use in Brunello, and
Right.
Brunello, that's entirely different than what we have
Complete
right here.
different monster.
Because
it's a
it's
big
produced
oak bomb kicked in
differently,
your teeth.
it's aged differently, there's laws that apply to it, it's a completely different area. So, that question, it depends on what, like, specifically where you are.
I can see some light Spanish reds or some light Portuguese
Maybe
reds.
like a Grenache,
Grenache,
although
exactly.
I don't know, the acidity is
Well,
pretty substantial in this.
the fun thing tonight was just bringing up a couple things. Chianti, so now you've learned region. So you guys can go out and shop and understand that if you're buying something from Chianti, you're basically drinking mostly Sangiovese, depending on the DOC or the DOCG, the laws that say 70 to 100% of that grape has to be in there. Secondly, you've learned now what a fiasco is. So it actually translates, if you say fare un fiasco, go make a bottle. I think we have somebody here who knows Italian who can shout out what it actually means.
But he's not going to.
But he's not
He's
going
too shy.
to. He's too shy. And also, here's the big kicker I want you guys to take away for all the big Super Tuscan drinkers. A history lesson. You cannot have Super Tuscan wines, those Sassicaillas, those monsters, without the disaster of Chianti and all the families fighting over what you can put into a Chianti that made them flee home and decide, we're going to make better wine than Chianti. But anyway, so just you learned that the Sangiovese grape is in Chianti, what a fiasco is. Kate's giving you some fun experience on what you should pair it with in dinner. The region matches the wine and stuff. And next week, who knows? We're going to bring something else that's going to be a lot of fun.
How do we drink a fiasco?
How do we drink a fiasco? I think it's something about a violin or something. And you kind of hump it over your shoulder and you drink it like this. We would like to know how to say this in Italian, but somebody's too shy to tell us how you say it. Something like viola or something. Il viola. Anyway.
This is going to be my new party trick.
That's going to be it. If you guys have any fun things you want to add, email us, make your comments. We love to hear from you. If not, always remember, guys, there is no wrong way on drinking wine as long as you're enjoying it. Till next time, thank you for joining us.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
You guys have a great time. Moving on with your wines. Bye.